Hi everybody, welcome to this brief Java tutorial covering the concept of summing. We are going to start from the very beginning as usual. I'm going to create a new Java... I don't want to create a new project, I want to create a new Java project. And this is going to be the summing project. If you already know how to do this, you might want to skip ahead. Now that I have my summing project area set up, I'm going to create my first class file. Yes, a Java project can have more than one class. This is where my main function is going to reside, and I usually call this class main with a capital M. This program is going to include a function which has a specific purpose. And this is called sum between. The purpose of this function is to sum every number entered between 10 and 20 inclusive. Okay, so any number that's entered in this range will be added to a sum. Now we are going to be using keyboard input. So at the very top of my class file, I'm going to include the import of java.util.scanner. And while we're doing that, inside the function, let's set up a scanner variable to read from the keyboard. So I'm going to call it kbin, and it's a new scanner variable which reads data from the keyboard, system.in. I also need a variable to store the sum that I'm trying to generate in this program. And I know at the beginning of the program, the value of that sum is going to be 0. Okay, so what I'm doing there is initializing sum to 0. That's what that line of code does. Now I'm going to allow the user to enter 20 numbers. So let's repeat the process 20 times. That for loop code should do exactly that. Now we're going to ask for a number. We're going to get a number. And we're going to evaluate a number. So let's complete these 3 tasks. System.out.print and enter a number. And then we're going to get the number and store it in... Oh, I don't have that yet, do I? I don't have a variable which will grab the number from kbin, which is communicating with the keyboard. I need to grab that number. So let's do it. Int, I'm going to call it num. So num will be assigned whatever kbin fetches from the keyboard. We'll use nextInt to get a whole number from the keyboard. And the final thing we're going to do is evaluate the number. If num is greater than or equal to 10, remember the range is between 10 and 20, and num is less than or equal to 20, if all of that is true, it means we've found a number in this range. We're going to add it to the sum. So how this works is the current value of sum is 0. We add whatever number the user entered, as long as it's in this range. Let's say it's 16. 0 plus 16 is 16, and we assign that result to be the new value stored in the variable sum. Sum is now 16. The next time we come into this if statement, if it's true, 16 plus, let's say it's 11, 16 plus 11 is 25, that will be assigned as the new value stored in the variable sum. So we're constantly updating the value of sum. And the last thing we want to do, but not inside the for loop really, I think that's the end of the for loop. Yes, it is. Do you see that? They connect. Just going to make a comment on that, so I know where I am. Let's just print the result. the total sum is... Okay. Now, it's going to be time consuming to test my function on 20 numbers. I'm just going to test it on 5 numbers. And if it works on 5 numbers, I'm going to assume it will work on 10 numbers, or 20 numbers, or 1,000 numbers. Okay, so I'll change that number again. I'll change this value again later. So let's run my program and see what happens. Wow, no syntax errors. Awesome. But nothing happened. What's wrong? No syntax errors. That is really good coding. But for every Java program starts in the main function, and I need to call SumBetween from the main function. And after we finish that, let's just put a little message. End of program. So when I run this class file, we jump into the main function. I call this function, so we jump into SumBetween. We do everything that needs to be done. And when we finish, we jump back into the main program and we continue. And there'll be one more line of code to execute. So let's run this program and see if it works. Enter a number, 0. So that's not summed. 100. Nope. The sum is still 0. 20. The sum should now be 20. Minus 8. So the sum is still 20. 1,000. The total sum is 20, because this is the only number in the range. So it looks like it works.